Heartwarming, cleaner saves falling twins, unexpectedly revealing their millionaire father. On a radiant Friday afternoon, the sun spilled golden light onto the impeccably manicured lawns of Brookstone Estates. Mia, a 32-year-old single mother, donned her favorite apron, a well-used canvas of her life that encapsulated her grit and resilience. She scrubbed and polished in the opulent mansion of Richard Lawson, the local millionaire, all the while her heart raced with thoughts of her spirited 10-year-old daughter, Lily. Mia knew the sacrifices she made in cleaning the lavish homes of the affluent were not just for a paycheck, but for a chance at a brighter future for her child. That afternoon, the air was filled with laughter as Caleb and Ethan, Richard's rambunctious twin boys, played near the balcony's edge. Suddenly, chaos broke loose. One slip, one stumble, and it felt as if the world slowed down. Mia's instincts kicked in, an instinct born from years of caring not just for Lily, but for others she met along the way. She dashed toward the boys, heart pounding, just in time to catch Ethan before he tumbled down the balcony. The sheer relief on Caleb's face told her everything. "Mia!" Richard's voice cut through the confusion, a mixture of panic and stunned gratitude. The parents rushed forward, eyes wide with shock as they realized how close they'd come to tragedy. Yet when they turned to Mia, instead of basking in accolades, she waved off their gratitude, her voice humble. "Just doing what anyone would do," she insisted, her cheeks flushed but her heart warm. Yet something shifted in Richard, a flicker of acknowledgement and guilt. He saw not just a cleaner, but a courageous woman with a fierce heart, a reflection of struggles he recognized within himself. What led Mia to this moment? Why was she so humble? He couldn't shake the feeling that he needed to learn more. As he quietly investigated Mia's life, peeling back the layers of her struggles, Richard discovered her estranged relationship with her father, mirroring his own conflicts over being present for his boys. Mia, with every tough decision she made, battled the hidden prejudices that accompanied her profession, while Richard faced the ghosts of his absences as a parent. The complexity of their lives began to weave their stories together in a way he hadn't anticipated. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Mia, in stark contrast to her humble beginnings, aspired to uplift her community. She secretly organized a charity event to support families like hers, combining her efforts with her newfound acquaintance, Richard. Inviting him and his family deepened their blossoming connection, but the tension simmered beneath the surface. Old biases festered, testing both families' perceptions of one another. As the event loomed closer, fraught emotions interplayed like a pulse. Was Mia's sacrifice enough to bridge the chasm of their socioeconomic differences? Would she find a way to heal the wounds holding them apart? And just as the stage felt ready for hope, a figure from Mia's past threatened to unravel everything, carrying with them the weight of the legacy she tried to escape. Who would show up, and could their unexpected bond survive the impending storm? The answers loomed just out of reach, begging for resolution. Mia stood in the sprawling hall of Brookstone Estates, a flurry of colors and noise assailing her senses as the charity event preparations kicked into high gear. The scent of fresh flowers mingled with the sweet aroma of pastries meant for the crowd, and laughter danced through the air, a stark contrast to the turmoil bubbling inside her. Just days before, she had gathered the courage to invite Richard and his boys, and now it felt like the weight of the world was on her shoulders. "Are you ready for this?" Mara, her closest friend and confidant, asked as she adjusted Mia's collar. "This is your chance to shine." Mia forced a smile, but inside, doubts gnawed at her heart. What if they see me as just a cleaner? What if they judge? There's so much history, so much I'm running from. Her voice trembled, revealing the layers of fear lurking beneath her resolve. "Hey," Mara said, squeezing her shoulder. "You're not just a cleaner. You've saved those boys. Own it. You deserve to be heard." As guests began to trickle in, Mia felt adrenaline surge through her. She glanced toward the entrance, where Richard, with his boys in tow, stepped inside. The room seemed to shift, the air thickening like a storm was brewing. Mia's pulse quickened at the sight of him in a tailored suit, exuding an air of confidence she had only glimpsed through their interactions before. But the boys were what truly stole her attention. Caleb and Ethan were bubbly, innocent, and untainted by the world's harshness yet. "Mia!" Caleb shouted, rushing towards her, his laughter lighting up the room. "Are you going to be here the whole time?" "Of course," she responded, bending down to his eye level. "We're going to have so much fun. Dad says this is to help kids like me." Ethan chimed in. His earnestness warmed Mia's heart, a reminder of why she was doing all of this. Richard stepped forward, a cautious smile breaking through the discomfort. "Mia, I just wanted to thank you again. You really did more than we could have ever asked for." "Please," she replied quickly, the praise catching her off guard. "I just did what I felt was right." Their eyes held for a moment too long, a spark of understanding igniting between them, each feeling a depth of emotion beyond the facades of their lives. But the moment fractured when a voice rasped from behind. "Mia!" Her breath caught in her throat as she turned. There stood Victor, her estranged father, the last person she expected to see. His presence felt like a specter from her past, calling forth every secret and pain she had buried deep within. Memories flooded back, the bitterness of their last argument, the tears, the abandonment. "Why are you here?" she managed to ask, her heart racing, a mix of anger and disbelief coloring her cheeks. "I heard about the event, and, well, I thought I'd come and see you," Victor responded, shifting on his feet, a hint of uncertainty in his eyes. The air felt heavy, like the calm before a storm. She took a step back, body rigid. Would he ruin everything? Or could this be an opportunity for closure? Richard, sensing the shift, stepped closer. "Mia, are you okay?" But Mia's focus was entirely consumed by the man at the door. As tension coiled tightly around them, she realized that the past was not going to fade quietly. With her heart pounding and her breath shallow, she had to decide, was she ready to face her demons? A silence stretched, heavy with unasked questions and unfathomable emotions. What would she choose? The weight of that question loomed, echoing in the hearts of everyone present. Mia stood frozen, Victor's presence overwhelming all the color and festivity around her. The ambience of joyful chatter and clinking glasses faded into a murmur as she caught herself trapped in the web of tangled emotions he spun. "Mia," he said, voice softer but weighed down by years of sorrow, "can we talk?" She resisted the urge to roll her eyes but felt a flicker of something: curiosity? Frustration? It was all too much to sort out. Her heart banged against her ribs like a caged bird desperate to escape. "There's nothing to discuss," she bit back, the words tumbling out sharper than she intended. Richard's gaze darted between her and Victor, concern etched into his features. He seemed to sense her turmoil. "Mia," he started, but she quickly held up a hand, shaking her head, fighting to maintain her composure. "Can you give me a moment?" Her voice was a whisper, a mere thread of control left. "Mia, please," Victor pressed, desperation lining his tone. "You don't know how hard it's been for me. And you think today is the day to make it right?" The hurt was tangible, creeping into her words, flowing from years of resentment. The laughter in the room felt distant, almost mocking. Her mind flashed to all the moments she wanted support, only to be met with silence from the very man who should have been there. She inhaled deeply, reminding herself of the boys, their smiling faces blinking into focus. The event wasn't just about her or even Victor, it was about them. They needed this to be wonderful. Caleb tugged on her sleeve, unaware of the gravity unfolding. Mia. Are we playing games soon? Mia knelt to his level, forcing a smile through the storm of emotions. Yes, buddy. As soon as we get this all set up, we'll start the games. But she felt Victor's gaze heavy on her shoulders, a constant weight. You can't just come here after all these years and expect me to forget, she said, her voice quivering. You didn't even try before. Why now? He flinched, and for a fleeting moment, she saw regret etched in the lines of his face. I made mistakes, Mia. But I'm here now. I want to make it up to you, to us. In that instant, her heart softened slightly, the flicker of hope battled with years of disappointment. Do you even know what making it up means? She whispered, feeling vulnerable and exposed. The boy's laughter cut through the tension again, a reminder of the innocence she wanted to protect. She refused to let Victor turn this day into something dark. Let us keep this civil, Richard interjected, his protective instinct shining through. Mia has a lot going on today. Richard, she started, but he placed a gentle hand on her arm, grounding her to the moment, to the purpose of today. Just give yourself some space, Mia. We can talk later. His expression was unwavering, strong and steady. It brought a small comfort, making her feel less alone in this storm. Victor's shoulders sagged as if he understood the door was slowly closing. Just know, I'm here if you want to talk, he said, his voice a shadow of the hope he once dimmed. With a stiff nod, she watched him walk away, swallowed by the crowd, and a wave of relief washed over her. But it was laced with something else. Was it anger? Was it sadness? Hey, are you okay? Caleb asked, tilting his head, sensing the change in her demeanor. Mia forced another smile, feeling like a juggler balancing awkwardly. Yes. Why don't you and Ethan help me with the balloons? They turned to rush off, but Mia lingered for just a moment. Richard still stood nearby, watching her. An understanding passed between them, an unspoken bond, a flicker of potential. Thank you for stepping in, she whispered, breaking the brief silence that settled. Always, he replied, and their connection felt undeniably charged. As the event began to flourish around her, laughter floated in the air again, but a sense of unease clung stubbornly to Mia. Victor was still a ghost she couldn't shake. The boys squealed in delight, pulling her back to the present. Let us go, Ethan said, pulling on her hand. Mia took a deep breath, pushing through unresolved hurt and finding a sliver of joy. But the lingering question plagued her mind: could she truly find happiness without confronting her past? And as the music swelled and guests began to dance, she felt the storm brewing again, knowing the choices she had to face were far from over. Could she really let go while Victor remained so close? Mia shifted into activity, her hands moving almost on autopilot as she started preparing the games for the kids. She focused on the colorful balloons, blowing them up one after another, banishing thoughts of Victor to the back of her mind. Each breath of air filled the balloon felt therapeutic, as if it could transfer some of her frustration into something tangible. The laughter of the boys infused the air with lightness, making it easier to ignore the heavier emotions lurking within her. Look at this one, Mia. Ethan shouted, holding up a bright blue balloon shaped like a dog. It had an awkward twist, but the pride in his voice made it perfect. Can we keep him? Of course. He needs a name, Mia replied, her smile now genuine as she watched the boys debate over what to call the new pet. Meanwhile, amidst the laughter and excitement, Victor re-emerged at the edge of her vision, leaning against a wall as he observed her. There was a strange serenity in his posture, as if he was absorbing every moment he missed. Just seeing him there, detached yet intent, made her gut twist. Why couldn't he just let her be? Mia, help me with this. Caleb called, yanking her attention back. He was tangled in ribbons, looking up at her with wide, innocent eyes. All right, superstar. Let us untangle you. She knelt beside him, while her heart raced. The warmth of his small hand in hers reassured her. In those moments, the love for her boys overshadowed the chaos that Victor brought into her life. Just then, Richard approached with a soft drink in hand. "You're doing great," he said, his voice calm and steady. "The kids are so excited." Mia appreciated his compliment but couldn't shake off the pit in her stomach. "Thanks. I just wish." The words hung in the air, her mind racing. Should she confide in him? Did she even need to? Perhaps it was too soon to let anyone in. Richard seemed to read her hesitation. He finally leaned against the table, his casual posture inviting but respectful. "You know, it's okay to take a minute for yourself. What you're carrying isn't easy." She looked into his eyes, seeing sincerity and understanding. Could she lean on him? I don't want to ruin today. The boys deserve to have fun without any dark clouds hanging over them. You're doing your best. That's what matters." He paused, his gaze softening. "And whatever you decide to do, I'm here for you." As they spoke, her breath caught in her throat. It felt so simple, but his presence brought comfort she never realized she needed. Across the room, Victor watched them, the intensity of his scrutiny unmistakable. Another wave of anxiety rolled through her. Why did it feel like he was marking territory? "Mia, can we play the water balloon toss next?" Ethan exclaimed, his excitement contagious. Reality returned with a jolt at the mention of bubbles and laughter. "Absolutely. Get the others." She grinned, eager to redirect her focus back to the children. As she joined the cluster of kids, splashes of water danced in the air and filled the room with giggles. For those fleeting moments, it felt like weight had lifted. Yet, the haunting reminder of Victor remained, tethering her thoughts. When the competition began, the boys dove into the game with unstoppable energy. Mia couldn't help but smile, her heart swelling with appreciation as she watched them. Each splash felt like a small bit of joy, pushing the turmoil aside, but the moment burst like a fragile balloon when Mia spotted Victor out of the corner of her eye walking towards her. Each step he took was deliberate, and the crowd faded into the background as if they were in their own world. Her heart sank. "Mia," he called out, voice steady yet laced with an urgency she hadn't heard before. She opened her mouth to respond, but no words came out. Could this truly be another chance to confront what had been haunting her for so long? Or would this only bring another wave of pain? The laughter around her faded again, leaving only the conundrum she faced once more. "Mia, I really need to talk." The question hung suspended in the air, heavy with the promise of confrontation. Was she ready to face him again, to confront the shadows of her past? The answer flickered just out of reach, making her pulse race with uncertainty. Mia's heart thudded in her chest like a drum, drowning out the sounds of splashes and laughter. Seeing Victor stride toward her, all solemnity and purpose, felt like a scene unfolding in slow motion. The boys were still jubilant, but she felt her world narrowing, as if the bright colors faded into gray. Richard noticed the shift. "Hey, let's get the next game together," he said, trying to keep the atmosphere light. He offered Mia an encouraging smile, but it was Victor's presence that pulled her focus, anchoring her to the spot. "Mia," Victor continued, his voice gentle yet firm. It was a tone she had heard before, one that brought both memories and fear. Suddenly, the weight of her earlier resolve evaporated. She wanted to shout, to tell him to leave her alone, but all she could manage was a nod, unsure if she could trust her own instincts. "Can we step outside?" Victor asked, his gaze searching hers. "I promise, just a minute." "It's important." What could possibly be so important? She retorted, frustration bubbling. The words came out sharper than she intended, startling the boys nearby. Ethan and Caleb exchanged glances, sensing something was off. "You'll understand if you just let me explain," Victor replied, his voice low and measured. There was a hint of desperation behind those words. Mia stood frozen for a heartbeat, teetering on the edge of a decision she never wanted to face again. Was this the moment she had been dreading? Or perhaps it was a chance to finally reclaim her voice. "It's not just about us," he continued, his expression softening. "There's more at stake. Please." She glanced at Richard, his eyes flickering between concern for her and the need to maintain the joyous mood of the event. Bubbles of laughter erupted from the kids, an innocent reminder of what she wished to protect. With trembling hands, Mia took a deep breath, weighing her options. "Okay, just a minute," she conceded, feeling the eyes of the boys on her. Victor smiled faintly, turning toward the door with a mix of relief and urgency. Mia followed, questioning every step as they stepped into the coolness of the outside air. The sun pierced through the clouds, its brightness feeling too stark against the turmoil churning in her heart. Once outside, the laughter was replaced by a heavy silence. Victor crossed his arms, fidgeting as he searched for words, while Mia gripped the fabric of her shirt, waiting for the storm to break. "I know things haven't been easy between us," he began, his voice softer now, almost tentative. "But I need you to understand I'm trying to make things right." "Make things right?" she echoed, hurt flashing in her eyes. "Do you even realize how many times you've said that before?" "Mia, please. Just let me finish. What I'm about to say might change everything." His voice cracked slightly, as if the weight of his own thoughts pressed down on him. "I know about Caleb and Ethan. What you've done for them. And I want to help, I want to be part of their lives." Her heart raced. The boys. Could she trust him, knowing the swings of his past? But how? She demanded, frustration mingling with hope. "You've been absent for so long. After today, you'll see. It's not just about us being together anymore. I've got a plan that can help us all." He paused, watching her. "You need to believe me. I've realized so much, and it's time for me to step up." The words hung in the air, and Mia's mind spun with possibilities. Was this a true moment of change? Or was Victor simply offering another glimpse of false promises? "I can't go through another disappointment," she whispered, more to herself than to him. Victor stepped closer, the determination in his eyes drawing her in. "Then don't. Let us face this together." As his words washed over her, the question remained vivid in her mind. Could she refrain from fleeing, from shutting him out completely, when maybe, just maybe, a new chapter awaited them? But just as the unspoken understanding loomed heavy between them, an unexpected crackle of excitement interrupted their stare. Mia lifted her gaze, heart skipping. A commotion erupted. From inside, echoing through the open door. "Mia, come quick. You won't believe what just happened." She jolted at her name, and before she could process what was unfolding, a tide of kids poured out, wild with excitement, a youthful storm that broke through the weight of the moment. "What is going on?" she shouted, instinctively turning back to Victor. He stood frozen, a knowing look on his face. "Looks like something big is happening inside. We should check it out." An inner conflict raged in her. What if their moment slipped away? But as Caleb's gleeful laughter reached her, beckoning her to join, Mia felt the pull of love and hope. "Let us go," she declared, grasping at the flicker of possibility that had ignited in her heart even if the implications of Victor's words lingered. But as the crowd surged in, she couldn't shake that feeling in her gut that their lives were on the brink of a monumental shift, one that could change everything she thought she knew. What awaited them inside that joyous chaos? Would the dreams of a transformed life be within reach, or would old shadows still hold sway? With her heart racing and questions swirling, she stepped into the thrumming laughter again, uncertain of what was next but undeniably curious. The energy inside the party venue was electric. Laughter and shouts rose and fell, spilling out like a kaleidoscope of colors. Mia felt it reverberate through her, bringing to life the uncertain faith she grasped onto. She turned back to the door, Victor still standing there, caught between a moment of hope and the chaos that pulled at her like a tide. "Come on," she called, her voice nearly drowned by the sounds of children's excitement. She couldn't ignore that spark in the air, the shared joy she wanted to dive into head first. As she stepped fully into the room, she spotted Caleb and Ethan at the center of a circle of onlookers. Mia felt a rush that felt impossibly good, pushing aside her worries, if only for now. "What's happening?" she asked, weaving through the crowd, her hand instinctively reaching for Victor's. He followed closely, his expression a mix of curiosity and apprehension. "Look!" one of the kids shouted, pointing with wide eyes. Mia's heart dropped slightly as she caught sight of a large, mysterious box at the front of the crowd. It was colorful, wrapped in shiny paper and tied with an enormous bow. It was big enough that everyone was gathering to peer inside, eyes alight with wonder. "What is that?" Victor asked, drawing closer to Mia as they both watched the spectacle unfold. "I don't know," she replied, squinting through the throng. "But it looks like it's for them." Caleb and Ethan stood in the front, their expressions shifting from joyful confusion to sheer bewilderment as the box was slowly opened. The children gasped in unison, their small faces reflecting pure delight as one of the volunteers pulled out a jumble of toys, brightly colored balls, action figures, dolls, and games, a treasure trove that seemed like it was pulled straight from a dream. The boys exchanged glances, their joy infectious, a powerful reminder of how simple moments could ignite happiness. Mia's heart swelled, and in that moment, she could forget about Victor's presence and the weight of their conversation. Then, without warning, a burst of laughter erupted from the back. "Hey, wait! What's that?" A little girl had caught sight of another box, smaller but equally wrapped, sitting atop a nearby table. Curious, she rushed to it, tugging at the ribbon with all her might. When it finally broke free, cheers erupted once again. "Open it! Open it!" The kids squealed, their voices ringing loud with collective anticipation. Mia felt a warm, creeping smile spread on her face. It was hard to resist the happiness bubbling around her. She caught a glimpse of Victor's softened features. He was entranced by the scene, momentarily forgetting the serious conversation outside, just like her, but then the little girl squealed, "Look! A note!" as she pulled out a card. The sight of it had Mia's breath catch in her throat. She could sense where this was headed. As she drew closer, she saw the girl hold the note up high. "It says it's from our dad." A hush fell over the room like a curtain dropping in a theater. Mia's heart sank. The excitement now mixed with an unanticipated tension. Everyone turned to whisper among themselves, eyes darting to Caleb and Ethan's puzzled faces, a looming question marking the air. "Dad?" a little boy echoed, glancing between Caleb and Ethan, who stood frozen in place. Victor, taking another step closer to Mia, whispered, "What's this about?" Before she could answer, tears welled in her eyes. She had shielded the boys from the reality of their father for so long, creating an image of family that was both fragile yet strong. Now it seemed that the past was ready to break through the facade. Victor placed a hand on her arm, grounding her. "Are they ready for this? I know I'm asking for a lot because of everything. What if he comes back?" Mia interrupted, anxiety flooding her words. "What if all of this, all of our work, is for nothing?" She felt the weight of that fear settle between them. Around them, the fervor was building as whispers began to rise. As the kids began to chant for the girl to read the note, Mia's heart raced. She faced Victor, a torrent of emotions swirling within her. Just when she thought they were on the brink of something new, this revelation threatened to unravel everything. Would the truth of their past empower or break them? Mia closed her eyes for a moment, bracing herself for the unknown. And then she heard it, the sweet voice of the little girl echoing through the crowd. "It says Dad is coming back for us." A wave of gasps followed. Mia's chest tightened. The moment she dreaded, the storm she tried to protect her boys from, was crashing down around them. "What now?" she whispered to herself, fear clawing at her. What would "coming back" truly mean for their future? Would it tear them apart or offer a chance to build something anew? As uncertainty loomed like a dark cloud, Mia could only grasp Victor's hand tighter, the world feeling like it was flipping upside down. The door to the past was swinging wide open, and she had to wonder, were they ready to step through it? The hushed tension in the room felt heavier than a winter coat. The notes of joy that had filled the space moments ago were replaced by a silence thick with uncertainty. Mia blinked rapidly, trying to shake off the wave of emotions crashing down on her. Caleb and Ethan's expressions transformed, a mixture of confusion and hope sparking in their youthful eyes. "Mom?" Caleb began, his voice barely above a whisper. Mia met Victor's gaze, and for a fleeting second, she could see his heartache mirrored in hers. She could almost hear the unasked questions swirling between them. Were they ready for this? Did they want to confront the shadow of the past now looming before them? But she didn't want to think about that, not here, not now. "Maybe," she started, her voice breaking slightly. "Maybe it's not as simple as it sounds." "No, it is simple," Ethan insisted, his brows knitting together. "If he's coming back, that means we get to see him. He's our dad." Mia felt trapped. The light in her boy's eyes reminded her of the innocent hopes she had tried so hard to protect. Could she bear to shatter their dreams with the reality of who he truly was? Victor's hand tightened around hers, steady and unwavering. "You don't have to say anything yet," he murmured, sensing her turmoil. "Just let them absorb it. They need to feel this moment first." As Caleb and Ethan continued to buzz with excitement, Mia's heart raced a little faster at the thought of the boy's potential heartache. She forced herself to breathe, glancing at each face in the crowd, now drawn to the boy's reaction. Was the energy in the room morphing into something darker, or was it just her adrenaline clouding reality? "Open the note. Open it." The children chanted impatiently, their collective enthusiasm somehow filling the room again with a lighter energy. The little girl, still holding the note aloft like a flag of hope, bounced in place excitedly. "I want to know what he says." Mia's resolve wavered as a sense of inevitability washed over her. "All right," the girl said, clutching the handwritten card. She cleared her throat dramatically before gripping it tighter. "It says, 'Dear kids, I'm sorry I left, but I'm coming back for you soon.'" What followed was a mix of reactions. Cheerful shouts reverberated through the space once again, but Mia felt her heart drop. Her boys fell silent, exchanging glances that hinted at their confusion. Victor shifted beside her, his breath trembling with a mix of emotions. "What does that even mean?" Ethan asked finally, voice laced with disappointment. "I think it means he's coming back to see you," Mia replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "But it doesn't guarantee that he'll stay." Caleb's face fell, the joy evaporating like mist in the morning sun. "But why did he leave?" Mia squeezed Victor's hand, steeling herself. "That's a complicated question, sweetheart." "Your dad," before she could finish, another child piped up. "But what if he's changed? What if he's nice now?" The innocence in the question sent a pang through Mia, stirring the protective mama bear inside her. She wanted to shield her children from every painful truth, but that would imply an unrealistic fairy tale. "Change takes time," she said softly, glancing at Victor. "And so does trust." The children began to chatter amongst themselves, each speculating the unimaginable. Mia felt the chaos slip into the familiar rhythm of party chatter, but in her heart, she felt weighty. Would Caleb and Ethan ever forgive their father for leaving? Would they be able to find happiness after years of feeling abandoned? As the moment passed, Mia found herself staring through the hustle of activity. She wanted to believe that the past could extinguish the uncertainty present. She wanted hope, not dread. But deep down, an unsettling question lingered: what if their father returning proved to intertwine hope and heartbreak? Suddenly, from amidst the boisterous crowd, a voice called, "Hey! Isn't that?" Mia turned sharply, her heart faltering. Instinctively, she leaned in closer to Victor, a protective stance as they both strained to see who had joined the festivities. Could it be the past had come knocking after all? And if so, what would it mean for her family? As the figure came into focus, dread settled like an anchor in the pit of her stomach. Would this be the turning point that shattered everything they had built? Questions raced through her mind as she prepared to face whatever or whoever was walking her way. Would this moment redefine their lives? Mia's breath hitched as the figure stepped into the light. It was him. The man she never thought would waltz back into their lives. Her heart raced, each beat a reminder of everything she had fought to protect. There he was, Ethan and Caleb's father, Mark. His familiar face was washed with uncertainty, but the moment he caught sight of the boys, a spark ignited in his eyes. "Wow, hey, kids!" he called, an undercurrent of hope infused in his tone. The way he said it felt like a hug that wrapped around memories both warm and threatening. Caleb and Ethan froze, their joy from earlier replaced by a hesitant confusion. "Dad?" Ethan murmured, his small voice barely piercing the buzz of the party. Mia's heart dropped again. Mia turned to Victor, seeing the hardened resolve on his face. He stepped forward slightly, positioning himself as a barrier between the past and the future. "Mark," he said, his voice steady but with weight, "you shouldn't be here." Mark held up his hands as if to show he meant no harm. "I know this is unexpected, but I came back for them. I'm ready to be their father again," he stammered, the sincerity battling against the reality of his years of absence. A barrage of children's laughter surrounded them, but for Mia, the world narrowed. The room spun, voices muffled as she focused solely on him. "How can you say that?" she shot back, her heart pounding like a drum. "After everything? You left us." Before Mark could reply, Caleb took a step forward, eyes wide with both hope and fear. "Are you really back for us?" he asked, vulnerability lacing his words. Mark's expression softened, and for a moment, he seemed like the man Mia once loved, a man filled with dreams and promises. I want to try. I know I've hurt you all, but I've changed. I want to start over." "Start over?" Mia echoed, her voice trembling. "You can't just erase the years you were gone." "I know," he replied, looking genuinely rattled. "And I'm not asking for forgiveness. Just a chance. One chance to make it right." Tension hung heavily in the air, a palpable mixture of hope and fear swirling around them. Mia could see the yearning in Caleb's eyes, a mirror to her innermost thoughts as she fought against the aching desire for reconciliation mixed with waves of protective instincts. Victor squeezed her hand, grounding her. "They need to know the truth, Mia. This isn't just about him saying the right words." His steady gaze met hers, a silent reminder of their shared journey. A child's shriek of laughter broke through, jolting Mia back. Mark was now kneeling, face level with Ethan, who stared at him wide-eyed. "Can we play catch if you stay?" Ethan blurted out, his innocence hanging in the air like a thread begging to be tugged. Mia's heart twisted painfully at that. An image of their lives filled with laughter and warmth flashed through her mind: family bike rides, silly movie nights, the innocent joy of childhood. Was there a chance they could have that again? "Ethan," Mia said softly, kneeling beside her son, taking his hands in hers. "You need to understand your dad's return doesn't fix everything. I want him to stay." Caleb piped up, dark blue eyes shining with longing that Mia couldn't bear to crush. Silence enveloped their little circle, and in that quiet, the enormity of the moment hung over them. Could Mark really change? Could her boys embrace a father who had hurt them? As Mia grappled with the weight of the decisions ahead, Mark shifted uncertainly. "I'll do whatever it takes to prove it," he pleaded. "Just give me a chance to show you." Could love really mend the wounds of the past? Or would this reunion only serve to open fresh scars? Her heart was a battlefield, hope clashing against despair. What would happen if they took the chance? Would faith bridge the gaps in their fractured family, or would this be another disappointment waiting to unfold? Mia's pulse quickened as she faced her boys' eager expressions, their futures hanging in the balance. Uncertainty washed over her in unpredictable waves. Could she truly risk everything again? Just then, a soft voice broke. Through her swirling thoughts it was Victor, his steady presence a reminder of the love they fought so hard to build. Mia, you have to decide. The choice is ultimately yours to make. Could she find the courage to choose? Would she trust again? And as the reality began to sink in, a new question emerged: what would this reunion ultimately cost them all? The room was thick with tension, the air vibrating with the unspoken words swirling between them. Mark's hopeful expression battled against Mia's protective instincts, each heartbeat a reminder of all the years of pain. Could he really rebuild what he had destroyed? Mia's mind raced, images of the life they once had flitting through her thoughts, the laughter, the family dinners, bedtime stories told with the kind of enthusiasm only a father could muster. But those memories were shadowed by the emptiness Mark had left behind. Mom? Caleb's small voice broke through the haze, filled with confusion even as hope clung to his words. She turned to look at him, her heart clenching. How could she shield them from the disappointment that could come crashing down at any moment? Caleb, she hesitated, searching for the right words. How do you explain a father's absence? How do you convey the hardness of life wrapped in the tender heart of a 7-year-old? I need you to be careful with your heart, she finally whispered, squeezing his hands tightly. Mark's eyes flickered with desperation, and for a moment, Mia believed he understood the magnitude of what had been lost. I can be there for you, for both of you, he pleaded, his voice rising above the din of party chatter. Is that what you want? Ethan interjected, stepping closer to Mark, his eyes wide with a mix of excitement and fear. To play catch and eat cereal together again? Just like before? Silence enveloped them again, punctured only by the distant laughter of children at the party. Mia felt a wave of nausea wash over her. Could he truly mean that? Was it possible for her boys to have their father back, this version of him that looked so sincere? Memories and fears warred within her chest. I'm not here to replace anyone, Mark continued, his gaze intent on the boys. I only want a chance to be better for you both. I've seen the things I've missed. The pain, the struggle. And it's time for me to make things right. Mia's heart twisted uncomfortably. Hearing him say those words was like watching a film of their past play out in front of her, but could a simple desire to reconnect erase the scars? Victor softly squeezed her hand, grounding her again. The heaviness of the moment drowned out the laughter and chatter of the party. It was like they had stepped into a bubble where only they existed. And in that silence, Mia faced Mark's steady gaze, searching for answers in the depths of his eyes. Why now? She finally asked, the words spilling out before she had time to think. What happened to make you come back? Mark faltered, and for a second, Mia caught a glimpse of the turmoil inside him. I made mistakes. I had to get clean. And those mistakes led me to realize there's nothing more important than family. Clean? Victor echoed, narrowing his eyes. Mia felt his protective barrier shift as he faltered. You think words will fix this? I'm not asking for it to be easy, Mark said, frustration edging his voice. But I want to show them a different side of me. I want to be in their lives. Mia looked again at her boys, their bright eyes searching for something hopeful. Their innocence, the pure love untainted by years of hurt, tugged at her heart. It's not just about you wanting this, Mark. We've built a life without you. I know, he replied, a shadow passing over his face. But I want to be part of it. I want to earn back your trust. Can you let me try? Each word sank deep, wrapping around her heart and squeezing. She could feel the weight of her fears, the hope of new beginnings, the possibility of being a family once again. Could she trust him? Would her boys be okay with such a monumental change? With each heartbeat, the urgency of her decision grew. Would she risk everything to explore this path? Or protect her boys from a potential heartbreak? Just as Mia opened her mouth to respond, her phone buzzed loudly in her pocket, jolting her from her spiraling thoughts. It felt like a rude interruption, a reminder that the world still operated outside the intensity of this moment. "Sorry," she mumbled, fumbling to pull it out. As she glanced down, her heart dropped. The message on the screen was a request for a face-to-face meeting, an old friend offering an unexpected deal that could alter everything. Suddenly, choices loomed larger than life, each with a different cost. Would she take the risk of a new beginning with Mark, or would she dive into an opportunity that could secure a different kind of future for her boys? As several conversations clashed in her mind, she realized this moment was just the beginning of a much bigger story unraveling fast. What lay ahead was uncertain, and as her heart raced again, Mia couldn't shake the feeling that this was only the start of a wild ride. Mia felt an electric pulse of anxiety wash over her. The moment hung like a delicate glass ornament, ready to shatter with the slightest touch. There was an impending storm brewing, not just in her heart, but in the air surrounding everyone. Caleb and Ethan stood before their father, their eyes wide and shimmering with hope, the innocence of childhood clashing against the harsh realities of the world. "Mia," Victor's voice broke through her racing thoughts, solid and strong. "Just breathe. You control this moment." His gentle encouragement wrapped around her like a comforting embrace. They had forged their own bond amid chaos. Did she dare to let their past resurface once more? Mark's gaze remained steady, determination etched into his features. "I know I don't deserve it, but I can't keep running away." His sincerity reverberated through her, a faint echo of everything she once believed him to be: the loving father, the protective partner. The weight lay heavily on her chest, but she had fought hard to build something beautiful for her boys. "Mom." Caleb's voice broke her reverie. "Can we really give him a chance? We've never had a dad around before." The rush of excitement in his words made her heart both swell and plummet. "Caleb," Mia began, fighting the tide of emotions, "it's not just about wanting a dad. It's about whether he's ready to be one, for real. It's a journey." Ethan's innocent eyes filled with longing. "But what if he's changed? What if he really wants to be here for us?" The room buzzed with anticipation, but Mia felt the weight of loss and disappointment pressing firmly against her heart. She had lived in a world without Mark, crafting warmth and security for her boys. Changes could ignite hope, but they could also be a pathway to deeper hurt. "Change takes time, kids," she said softly, kneeling to meet their eager faces. "It isn't simple. I want you to find happiness, but we have to be wise about this." Mark nodded, his expression earnest. "I'll work every day to show you I can be that dad. I learned it the hard way." Victor squeezed her hand tighter, a grounding gesture that spoke volumes. He understood the weight of this moment. He had seen the sacrifices Mia made for her children. She found solace in their lives and envisioned a future built on love and trust. Finally, gathering courage, Mia exhaled slowly. "Mark, I want to believe you. I really do. But promises mean nothing without action. You've been absent for so long. How can you expect them to just trust you?" "I understand," he replied quickly, his voice strained but sincere. "I want to earn it, starting today. I'm ready to prove that I won't repeat the mistakes of my past." The boy's eyes lit up at the intent behind his words. Anxiety washed over Mia again. Could she let them feel this flicker of hope? What if it was just another empty promise? Then the party atmosphere shifted. Laughter and chatter swelled with excitement as guests enveloped the scene, oblivious to the tension hanging above the family. Mia felt the love of the community surrounding them, a testament to the bonds they had built together even amid chaos. "I want to meet you halfway," Mia finally said, her heart pounding, "but this will be on my terms. You can see the boys, but we will take this slow. I need to see that you're serious." Mark nodded vigorously, the relief washing over him palpable. I promise, I'll show you both that I mean it. As if on cue, the boys squealed, bursting with joy. Can we go throw a ball outside, Dad? Please. Mia couldn't help but smile at their genuine excitement. Watching the joy spread across their faces, a warmth blossomed within her. Hope. A flicker of something new and fragile, yet strong enough to consider. Okay, she said, standing tall. But let us do this as a family, slowly. I want to have a repeat of the past. Absolutely. I promise, Mark replied, sincerity coloring his tone. And as the boys dashed into the light, laughter echoing alongside them, the reality of their lives began to shift. Confidence fluttered in Mia's chest, feeling the weight slowly lift. Choices blended with new possibilities. The future was still foggy, but the winds had begun to shift. Victor glanced at her, pride shining through his eyes. You're doing amazing, he murmured. No matter what comes next, you've faced your past with courage. That takes real strength. Tears pricked her eyes, but she held them back. It's just the beginning, isn't it? Their hands remained intertwined, their bond growing through the turmoil. No matter what awaited them, they would navigate this journey together. As laughter and joy permeated the air, Mia could see it clearly, their story wasn't finished. If they faced the future united, trust might build again. Building love from fractured pieces could light the way forward. And so, with the boys giggling just ahead, she took a deep breath, ready to embrace the wild ride of uncertainty that lay ahead, hoping they would uncover a brighter path altogether. The moment shifted, and as the sun began to dip low, the warm glow cast new light over Brookstone Estates, a radiant embrace of hope, a foundation to start anew. You need to subscribe now to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories that pull at your heartstrings. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep these moments alive. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending, it matters. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second.